YouTube, what's good, man? It's your boy Swain, and you know, I'm back with another video, man. And I told you guys yesterday, after the video that I posted, that you know, I was gonna bring you guys, different content, you know what I'm saying, and more controversial content that we can really talk about and discuss. Not only did I see this topic, I see this topic a lot actually on like pages like Spiritual Word and Shade Room. I also see it a lot on TikTok. You know, people discussing the fact why men can't be faithful, or why aren't women faithful, or is monogamy this, is monogamy that. And you know, I'm gonna tell you guys, man, I told you, everything that's been created for us is a construct, man, that's used to keep you in a box and that's used to further control the human race. So what I'm gonna do is, man, I'm gonna play this video clip of this lady. I want y'all to pay attention to what she says, especially ladies. If you're watching this video, I really want y'all to pay attention. And then we're going to dive into it and we're going to break this shit down. Let's get it.
Who told us that was cheating? Where did that idea come from that that's cheating? A man who has two women, that's not necessarily a mistress. That's just his other woman. Now, we got two choices. We can be the woman or the other woman. We don't have but those two. And I'm not saying that a lot of men are not just running around. I'm not talking about that. But if a woman finds out that her man has been with a woman while she's been with him for 3 or 4 or 5 years, that's a serious commitment and relationship. And if it hasn't taken anything from me, if I'm not going short of anything, and if this is what he thinks his responsibility is, then what kind of hell are you going to go through to prevent that? Since we cannot stop him. Now, I know we don't like that. I don't like that. You know, but that's the reality of our life at some point. But every man doesn't want two women, but those that do, they're going to do it.
What about our morals and our religion?
Whose religion? Whose morals? So whose idea are you representing when you stand up for those values? Not ours. Somebody else's. And it may work for them, but it doesn't work for us. It hasn't worked for anybody, really, but nobody wants to deal with the truth. Monogamy was only created because of the economics of it.
Man, now let's dive into this topic, man. Yeah, you know, that was a very interesting video. Very interesting video, man. And I actually been paying attention to a lot of this lady's interviews and TED Talks for a while. I can't remember her name, but I do know she has a very logical mindset. She's very read. And a lot of things she say I really do agree with. Now, let me just say this, man. You got to think that everything that's been given to you, man, it's a construct to keep you away from yourself, which is why I call my channel Truly Indigenous, because I always pay attention to the indigenous teachings, right? And one of the things that the indigenous ones lived by, this is why you hear this saying all the time, right? It takes a village to raise a child. See, this comes from back in the day, the villages, these tribes, the indigenous people who had created for themselves, the civilizations they created for themselves. Men back then had multiple wives. They had maybe 1 or 2 women, maybe even 3, depending on how successful and how big the bag was, that helped them build their kingdom and cultivate their households. Take care of the children. Take care of the things around the house while the man provided stability for the family. You also have to understand that when all hands are on deck, you can get more done, which is why a lot of indigenous civilizations were able to get so many things done and make so many strides and great, discoveries, because they were able to grow at a faster rate. They had more help, more people on the team. Now, see, monogamy is a learned behavior. Monogamy is a construct that was taught to us from Europeanized settlers who came here and, destroyed our civilizations. Now, the reason that they give you monogamy is because when you are constricted and confined to one mate, you can't get as much done. You can't cover as much ground, which is why you have to get a marriage license, which is why you have to go ask permission to be married, because now they can better control the population because it's all a numbers game. They see who's married to who, how many couples we have. Now I can know what to implement. I can know what to red line, all sorts of things, guys. This is why you have to go ask for permission to be married, which is why I'm not an advocate for marriage, because not only am I marrying that woman, I'm marrying the government. And it's more than just us in this relationship. See, if the relationship was really all about love, I wouldn't need a marriage license, but it's in fact more about control and money, which is why it's not beneficial for a man. And you have to understand the reason monogamy was given to us. So this brings me to my next point. You often have a lot of women, especially in the spiritual word page, Shade Room, and TikTok, always talking about why can't men be faithful, because men are not designed to be with one woman. You know, we're not. And I think this is going to become more and more exposed because we live in the era of tech. Technology is going to expose this. Only 5% of mammals are monogamous. Us being one of those, because we were taught that. It's really not in the nature of a mammal to be monogamous, because that's not how we were designed. There's actually a component in the brain that shows not to be non-existent in men. And that component is necessary for monogamy to exist. It's not in us. You can look this shit up if you think I'm playing. So we have been very much taught this behavior, which is why it's very hard for a lot of men to do so, because it goes against your natural desire. Why do you think when you're out in public, right? Maybe you at the gym, maybe you at the grocery store, and a fine ass chick walk by with a fatty, a complete stranger, dude you never even seen in your life. Y'all look at that ass and y'all look at each other and y'all be like, hell yeah. Y'all will make that eye contact and shake y'all head, because it is a wavelength. It is a way that we have been designed as men. But we have been taught not to, because it takes you away from yourself. It literally weakens you, because you know how much stronger men would be if you were to have 1 or 2 women in your life. And you were able to get things done. You got one taking care of the kids. You got one maybe doing our duties around the house, and you bringing the money in. Think about that. Think about how much more fulfilled that household would be. Now, granted, this is only for men who are fulfilled. If you a man who ain't got no money, of course you cannot bring stability to 2 women. You barely can do it for yourself. Which is why back in the day, men got married older. That's why women married older men, because they were more fulfilled. They were more, stable. That's where the whole idea comes from of younger women dating older men, because older men accumulated more and were able to provide more, which means that they could take on more women. It's a reason for that. Now, this brings me to another point. I want you to think about a lion that's domesticated versus a lion that's in the wild. Now, that lion that's domesticated has a much shorter lifespan than the lion in the wild, because that lion that's domesticated, that's at the zoo, is fighting against his unnatural situation. He wants to be his natural state, which is to be in the wild and hunting his food, but instead food is given to him. So he loses part of himself, because part of his instinct is to hunt. He no longer exercises that part of himself because food is hand given to him, right? So that part of the lion dies, right? Then you have to think that that lion is used to being the leader of a bigger pack than he is being in the zoo. That part of the lion dies. So what ultimately happens is that important parts of that lion, the components that makes that lion him, starts to decrease and deplete. So he dies at a much faster rate. It's almost like his testosterone levels lower. Same way for a man who's in a relationship versus a man that is single and living a fulfilled life. Because that lion in the wild is going to live much longer because he's doing what he's supposed to do. That's natural. But then you take a man that's in a relationship. Studies have been proven that men who are in long-term, committed, monogamous relationships have lower testosterone levels than men who are single and living a fulfilled life and doing what he needs to do to get the job done. I have older friends and homies that I work out with who are in their late 40s, early 50s. And I mean, these guys look amazing. They're fit, they're in shape, living the life that they want to live. They got a bag, and they're not married. And then I look at the guys who I do know who are sometimes even younger than these guys, but have been in long-term committed relationships, who are married, and they lost themselves. They don't focus on their fitness anymore. They don't focus on their passions anymore. They haven't built anything because they begin to adopt the happy life mentality. And they live for that woman. That's why testosterone levels in men who are in committed relationships are a lot lower. They're not exercising on a regular basis for the most part. Now, I'm not saying you don't got guys who are in these relationships who have women who work out and they work out. There's always an exception to the rule, but I'm talking about the majority, guys. If you are going to be in a relationship, if you are going to be married, you better set limitations. You better not lose yourself. Yourself has to come first. And I think a lot of the times that's the detriment to monogamy, because you end up becoming this family man and you live for your family instead of living for yourself. When it's really supposed to be you provide, she serves. That's the way it's supposed to go. But instead, you got women who want to provide and want you to serve her. And you can no longer be the man you need to be. You understand what I'm saying? Working out keeps your testosterone levels high. I want you to pay attention to these men who get married and don't work out on a regular basis. They gain weight because their estrogen level starts to heighten. You know what I'm saying? And their testosterone level is lower. So fat binds to estrogen. This is why women are overweight more than men are, because they have more estrogen in the body than we do typically. You know what I'm saying? Monogamy doesn't benefit you as a man, dog. I'm keeping it a buck. And to even be more honest and be more frank, women now, just if we have learned monogamy as men, women learn polygamy. Women aren't naturally designed to be polygamous and have all these motherfucking men, because they're emotional. They want to bind to a man and build with him. Naturally, that's what they want to do. But because of society and the programming and women now who have adopted this feminist mindset and they want to be equal to a man, think that they can do the same shit, which is absolutely false. This is why when you're in these fuck buddy relationships with women and it's just sex, she can't handle that shit. She eventually will ask you, what is this we're doing? Or I can't do this anymore. I want something real. Where is this going? I want a boyfriend because I'm not just finna be getting fucked on. She can't do that. She can't. So when they say we can be monogamous, why can't y'all? We ain't designed the motherfucking same. But ain't nobody talking about this. Don't nobody want to speak on this. Nobody wants to speak on this because it's taboo. We shouldn't say that, or something's wrong with you. You don't have self-control. Why the fuck do I have to have self-control over something that's motherfucking natural? Something that's natural. Why do I have to stop that? Why do I have to stop my urge? Now, I'm not saying you got to go out here and screw multiple women every single day, but what I'm saying is that a man that is a bachelor with money in his pocket and he has options lives a much more fulfilled life than a man who's married or in a monogamous relationship that lives for that woman. That's why they say the most envied man is a man that's 35 years old, that's single, and who is financially stable, because he has time on his side and options. This is facts, man. This is very much so facts. So I made this video because I want you as men to think about, what are you actually getting yourself into when you adopt this way of monogamy, because it's really not the way of you. That's why when men get married, it's so hard for them. A lot of men, it is very hard for them to be in a committed relationship. And it's hard for women today too, because of social media. They have so many options. They're so used to getting validation by multiple men via social media platforms. So how the fuck you think she gonna only just be with you and the validation you give her is gonna be enough? She's gonna always seek male attention from other guys. This is why oftentimes you see men in relationships with women and married in some cases, especially the guys who are happy wife, happy life, who are plugged in betas. And I'm gonna do a video on the plugged in beta, man. I'm gonna do a video on that. Shout out to Entrepreneur in Cars, man. That's a dope YouTube channel, by the way. If y'all get the chance, subscribe to that guy's channel. Check out his content, because it's very dope. But he has this thought pattern of, or this saying of the plugged in beta male. And a lot of times, let me get back to what I was talking about. The plugged in beta is the guy who puts his woman on a pedestal. He posts her all the time. They could be in some random ass setting. Maybe they just out at the park, post. I love my girl. She's the best thing that ever happened to me. And if something ever happened to her, I wouldn't be myself. And you go to her page, she ain't got shit about your ass. Every other post is her on her page, ain't shit about you. She maybe got one ass post if y'all at a Christmas party 5 years ago. That shit all blurry and camera shit all fucked up. No hashtags on that motherfucker. And then you go to her recent pictures. She out in Miami with her homegirl shaking her ass. Bikini photos, ass photos, twerking photos, all these types of things. Want to know why she's doing that? Because she's still seeking attention and validation from other men because she's been used to it and she needs it. And for you to ask her to cut that off when she's been used to getting that shit for the last 10 years of her life, and you think your validation alone is enough, boy, you out your motherfucking head. Boy, y'all better wake the fuck up. I don't know if nobody ever told you or nobody came to bust your bubble, but I'm here to pop that bitch. It don't work like that, bro. Wake the fuck up. Wake up, man. You were never meant to be monogamous, bro. Now, let's just say you're a guy who want to be monogamous. You were raised that way. You want a family. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But just have perspective on it. Make sure you put yourself first. Make sure that woman knows that she can never come before your success. You chase excellence, not women, fellas. You understand? It took me a long time to get that mindset because I wasn't always like that. My parents are married, so I grew up seeing monogamy. I grew up seeing the marriage life and all of that bullshit, but I'm here to tell y'all, man, that marriage and monogamy destroys men more than it does. It really does. Which is why that shit is dying, which is why you see more men opting out of marriage and monogamy because it really doesn't serve you any purpose. I want you to ask yourself this. What benefit are you getting being married to a woman? All the things that marriage brings, can you not get that shit single? Really ask yourself that. I'm not even going to answer the question. But really ask yourself, all of those things, can you not get that shit single? Ask a woman, what do you get out of marrying her and see what the fuck she tell you. I bring everything. Like what? A lot! A lot! What is it? What do you bring? She can't name that shit. She probably say some stupid shit. Well, support. I cook, I clean. You want to grind, you get into a bag of man shit. You can pay a fucking chef and a maid. What, you come out of pocket $600-700 a month, and now you got your food prep, you got your house clean. I can buy what the fuck you can do. So I'm trying to figure out what benefit am I really getting. Now, if you got children, it's a benefit. Because the way a woman can nurture a kid, a man never can. So I can understand why a guy would want to have a woman and build with her if he has children. Because it is better. It's a lot better to raise a child with two parents, man. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And it's even better if you are able, if you got the game enough and the finances enough and the resources enough to have 2 or 3 women in one big ass house and y'all doing it together. If you can pull that off. And there are guys who are doing that. Most of them are very, very successful, rich men. And they have the resources to do so. Most men don't. The average man only makes about $55,000 a year. You can't do that. So that's why a lot of guys like that stay single. Some don't have kids. If they do have kids, they deal with the baby mama situation, which is fine. You know, as long as you're paying your child support and you got some shit set up and the woman is logical, it's not a problem. You understand what I'm saying? But I just wanted to bring this video to y'all, man. It's just something to think about, something to talk about. You know what I'm saying? I hope this triggered some type of different thought pattern in your mind, man. And when you with your homies, man, go on there and have a conversation with it. I would really love to hear how y'all feel about this video, man. What do y'all think about this? What are y'all viewpoints on monogamy? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and drop a comment down in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, man. Also, follow me on Instagram at trulyindigenous_man. Until next time, fellas.